Alright guys, welcome back to Works. I'm Ryan.
I'm Chili.
I'm Dan.
We're going to go over our trip to Helen to go to Alpine Volks Fair. We're going to start off with the lovely trip down. Dan, what was going on with you on the way down?
So I had a wiring issue right before the trip. Decided I was just going to make the trip with no windshield wipers.
Tell us about your car in case they didn't see the other video.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I got a Mark II with a whole Mark IV dash harness engine transmission swap. All the wiring in the car is Mark IV. So I figured it'd be alright because I'm just retaining OEM wiring. But the way it's routed and the way that I trim down the harness doesn't always work like that. That being said, wipers stopped working on me, melted a couple relays trying to get them to work, decided I'd make the trip with no wipers. Shouldn't be that bad. Yeah, the night we left was
Straight downboard.
monsoon.
Downpour.
So we're cruising on 58, trying to just make it out to Ryan's place for the first leg of the trip. And I had Jordan riding with me. I had bought a squeegee right before the trip for cleaning the windows. And I had this man hanging out my window in torrential downpour, just squeegeeing my windshield so I could see. And we're going through floods. It's just miserable.
Dude, that one puddle.
Yeah.
That swallowed everybody's car.
Yes.
It came up through my floorboards, my harness and my fuse box was soaked. I was like super paranoid about it.
Dude, I knew when I hit that puddle, I saw water splash over the windshield. I was worried about the air filter.
Mm-hmm.
Real shit. I was driving at that same puddle, and Travis was in front of me, and I completely lost sight of his taillights. And I was like, great, cool.
Yeah, I was behind you at that time, I think. Couldn't see you at all. I was 20, not far behind you.
And this is what, 1 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
We were in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the trip.
Yep.
From
right in Suffolk.
Yeah, from my house. We're right on the
Right
other
in
side of
Suffolk.
Suffolk. It was down by the airport.
Yeah.
So that was a bad call.
So that was the first part of our night, was the whole lack thereof windshield wipers in the torrential
The whole
downpour.
rain, even with working wipers, it was terrible.
I couldn't see out the Mark III
Yeah.
because I have no defroster, so Nick was on the side of the car on my side with his hoodie wiping the windshield down.
Oh, Jordan was also using the squeegee on the inside of my windshield because I also don't have a heater box.
Wait a minute.
Or a fan.
So the car without windows, did you have wipers?
Yes, I have
Did you have
wipers.
defrosters?
Not really. It works. The fan works. The heater core works, I think.
We were getting a little bit of heat.
It has coolant going through it.
Yeah,
But
So he's got his beat.
the blend doors and the directional doors don't work
Yeah, okay.
All right.
mostly. So it just kind of goes wherever
You
at
had
whatever
warm air
temperature it
seeping out
wants.
of wherever.
Mostly warm air.
Okay.
Slightly warmer than room temperature, I would say.
Enough
But
to,
I still-
enough to
I
clean
had
the
to-
windshield.
Yeah.
I had the windows cracked the whole time just to make it sure it was clean. That fresh air was enough.
Yep.
So I guess that's still better than you guys, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, Nick was like this on the inside of the glass for about 2 hours for that trip.
I had my windows all the way down.
The
like I
first
said.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And then we get to the first gas station. Tommy starts hearing a noise.
Mm-hmm.
And don't really think anything of it because we just put a transmission in that car. And
Tommy's got a Mark 6 GTI, just so you guys
Yep.
yeah,
know what we're talking about.
he's got one of them aftermarket. Don't want to say it's not ECS. It's not a name brand, but some aftermarket dog bone. And we've been telling him to get rid of this thing for a while, and he finally did. After 2
When he
hours
fell out
into
of
the
his car.
trip, dog bone bolts just dropped.
Self-delete.
Self-delete. So he babied his car all the way to Helen.
Yep.
Don't know how we did it, but his got to Helen.
He had new motor mounts, so
It was solid.
it wasn't nothing bad was gonna happen, but it wasn't good.
Yeah.
His fans just sounded like a rocket ship taking off.
He said every time he accelerated in first gear, it was just thunk, thunk, thunk.
So
So how far are we into the trip now?
we're at the first gas station when we noticed the dog bone.
Which was about 2 hours.
No,
2
that was
hours.
3 hours into the trip. That was way on the other side of Emporia.
How about this? It took us over 3 hours to get out of the state of Virginia.
It did when it usually only takes like an hour and a half to 2 hours to get there.
3 hours to
That's
get
how-
to North Carolina.
That's how bad the rain was.
Yeah.
And we were like, let's just keep pushing. Let's push through the rain. Let's push through the rain. Well, Oh yeah, and Kay didn't have wipers up until the trip. Come to find out, he just had a blown fuse, in which that's one thing we didn't check when we sold him the truck. Everything else worked. It wasn't raining in the
I
shop,
don't think we even checked the wiper, really.
No, but he's got an 81 Caddy, and dude got a solid deal on that truck.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see what else. We finally started making it into the morning time when everybody was getting tired. You know, leaving at 1 a.m. to be there hopefully by
10 a.m.
10 at the latest. It became every gas station stop, not thinking about how uncomfortable racing seats are.
Yep.
You got to put a cushion under your tail.
I took my son's his little baby pillow that he had. It was all like drool stained from when he was a little one, and the wife said I could have it. I put it right there, right where my spine hits the back of the, because there's no padding in the back of the seats, and it worked actually fantastic.
What seats do you have?
I have the Cobra Clubman seats.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just a fixed back little racing seat.
You know, we just updated the Mark III 180T.
Yeah, you just got recliners.
I got non-fixed back recliner Corbos. It was a lot more comfortable than the fixed backs, but damn, my butt still hurt.
I mean, it's going to though after 8 hour turned into 12-hour drive.
Yeah. And then you got Brahms.
I got Brahms. Yep.
How was your ride?
Those were actually decent. I mean, after a while, I had to figure out the good seating position.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not the factory seat. Only half the center console's there, so I had to figure out where to set my leg, where to put my foot onto the Mark VI gas pedal. So it was just figuring everything out, which took like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mind you, Chili's only had maybe tops an hour of driving this car before we got on the road in this thing. So there was.
I drove it around the block like twice.
Yeah.
You drove it more than I did.
Oh yeah, I put 30 miles on it before we.
I drove it.
Yeah, I guess you did drive around the big loop twice.
I drove it around the big loop twice, which is.
And then you tried to drive it home.
Then I tried to drive it home, ran out of gas, of course, obviously.
Car got impounded.
It didn't get impounded, all right?
Okay, it didn't get impounded, but the tow truck came in.
The police towed it because I ran out of gas and it died on the turn lane, I guess. That's why they towed it. But I was there an hour later with gas and the 4Runner and the dolly, ready to tow it back to the shop, and it was gone.
It was gone like
and
last
that was
paycheck.
the night before.
The night before we left.
No, it was 2 nights before. It was Sunday. You were driving home on Sunday.
The night before we left. The night before we left, we were.
Yeah, so the car got towed on Sunday. We were leaving Wednesday AM at 1 a.m.
No, it was towed Monday.
Yeah. Was it Monday?
Monday.
Anywho, we had like a day left. I left work, had a haul tail down to the impound lot, even though it wasn't impounded, to get this car out. Finally get it back. And we still had the bumper, the doors,
All the panel swaps that they just picked up.
Yeah, cut the bumper to make the GLI lit fit.
Mm-hmm.
Still had to wire or replace the window motor and do a little bit of wiring to finish that.
Yeah.
It was just a hectic mess right before we went. But yeah. So we got to the next gas station. After that was all smooth sailing, getting into Helen.
I mean, I had the shifter issues the entire time.
It's a brand new shifter.
I got one of them Cooler Work shifters, and I just didn't know how to rig it. There's no DIY available, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it got to the point where I would drive for a few hours, and at the next gas station, I couldn't find first. I would accidentally put it into reverse, so I'd have to feel it out where it was going before I could take off from a stop. Sometimes I would start from a red light in third and just send it.
Speaking of like with the shifter,
Yeah.
when we went up to the mountains the first day, Kay was backing up.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near launched it off the mountain.
Oh yeah.
And all of us stopped and ran right towards it.
I remember that because he's like, I don't have an e-brake, and he started rolling back, and we're all like, no.
I don't care how tired we were, dude. We all jumped right to that truck. As if this truck's going down, we're going with it.
Fortunately, he hit the brakes before.
Thank goodness.
Before we even got there, he hit the brakes, so it was good.
So, other than that, once we actually got through the mountains, rolled up to Helen, we were there about 11:30, 11:45. 2 hours past our
when we wanted to
ETA
be there.
being
we
there.
missed the sunrise.
Yeah,
We the mountains.
So
That's why we left at 1, was so we could hit the sunrise in the Appalachians right at
Smokies.
The Smokies.
Yeah, so I was the planner of the trip. I've been making this trip for...
Never again.
I've been making this trip for well over a decade now. And I always like to try to hit the Smoky Mountain Expressway at sunrise because it's gorgeous. There's fog on the mountains. You start hitting the really long, swoopy downhills and uphills, and it's just a beautiful sight. And I try to make the trip through Asheville intentionally. Ended up taking us really long time this year. Maybe we'll revisit that another time.
With 1 GPS, not 5.
Yeah.
That was another issue we had. 5 GPS going, all of them were trying to take us different ways.
Yep.
Even though we all said, put us in Hiwassee.
Yep.
Nope. Some were going south, some were going straight across, some were going up.
Yeah, we didn't even take 17 into the town like
No.
we wanted to.
Somehow it looped us around Helen and brought us back up into Helen.
I actually I like that.
It's always a good drive. Every road out there is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
for sure.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the road we took in when we finally got in Hiwassee and went around, that was fun.
Yeah,
But it wasn't fun enough, to extend the drive by almost an hour.
I agree.
So we finally get into Helen.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, your adrenaline's pumping because
We were all tired, wanted to go to sleep,
But
and
you're there. It's like
we see the first cars roll up.
Yep.
And we're like, yep, well, here's our second win.
yeah,
There we go.
and there was no sleeping for me after that. I don't think any of us
No.
took a nap.
No, I think we all fell asleep. Me and you fell asleep at 3 a.m. the following morning.
Yep.
To turn around and wake up at 5 a.m. to go do the mountain sunrise.
Because obviously we got to have some beers that first night.
Yep.
For sure.
So the first meet that we went to was the pre-2K meet.
No,
the
early bird.
early bird meet.
Yep.
Which was actually a big turnout.
Yeah. I think the AVF turnout is getting bigger every year, significantly so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was all kinds of cool stuff at that early bird meet.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that many cars right out the gate.
Yeah.
Because usually they start rolling in Thursday-ish when the big meets start.
Yep. Yeah, I remember last year the early bird meet filled about half that lot at Cool River. This year, it easily filled the whole thing. There were cars already across the street at that point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start off, I guess, with the Mark 1 meet. We, Kay, the one with the truck almost going down the mountain.
Yep.
If y'all went, you would know his truck is the only truck in Helen with the camper top.
Yep. Yeah, the red one. It's a good looking truck, honestly. He did score a hell of a deal on that car.
Yeah. Long story short, October, his truck got extremely wrecked. It went through a house. If you watch some of our prior videos, you'll know we talked about it a little bit.
We've talked about it in a couple videos.
Yeah. So that truck, we replaced it. We found him one. Me and Chody worked out a couple deals, had to move some things around. We found that truck with a hell of a steal. We get it into the shop, start doing a few things that need to be done, and there's more stuff behind it. Oh, here's a duck bill. Oh, here's this. Here's that. And he didn't know about it until the day he came to pick the truck up before we go to Helen.
Yep.
So he had a good time at the Mark 1 meet. And so happened at the Mark 1 meet, there was a couple other meets going on. I couldn't make it to the Mark 1 meet.
Right.
I got a bunch of pictures from everybody, but I didn't actually physically go. I hear there was one of the trucks I did see, which is probably, believe it or not, based on the build we're doing next. Well, not next, but coming up. My favorite vehicle at the Mark 1 meet was that lifted diesel truck.
Yeah, that
with the
thing's
with the bars.
He
Yes,
followed
that
me into
thing
the
was
pre-2K meet, and I just
amazing.
kept watching it in my rear view because
Mhm.
it's such a good-looking truck.
It was so awesome.
To
I
me,
love
it's-
that truck.
I love the show cars.
Yeah.
But the drivability, oh, I got a dent. Okay.
Yeah.
That truck did it for me.
I was watching another video, and they actually talked to that guy. I didn't get to talk to him personally, but all those decals are all original. He said he found it in a junkyard like that,
Oh yeah.
with all the original decals.
Oh
Yeah, it's
yes.
Diesel
it's
right
super-
across the
oh,
side
yeah.
of the door.
Yeah,
And the
super
color
period
concept.
correct. It's
For some reason, it reminds me of like the truck in Back to the Future.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
if you that's what I thought too. Actually, it was like
I-
if it was
I-
a Volkswagen Caddy and Back to the Future, it would have been
That
that
would've been
truck.
it.
That would have been that truck.
yeah. Even had the KC lights over
Yep.
the top.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like that truck, yes, there was a lot more trucks that were in way better shape that definitely were
show cars.
show cars.
Yeah,
And I won't take that from them because there was a lot of money and time sink in all them cars. Like the other one, the Mark 1 Coupe that you saw, fully shaped.
oh yeah, that was one of
Loved
my
it.
favorites.
That was a show car, and definitely that deserved to be on the show field. 100%. Like, the activities you can do with that engine bay.
Yeah. Yeah, there was so much room in there, and it was just an ITB, like, gnarly silver car. I just loved it. Every time I saw it, I had to get a picture of it.
And the other one I really liked was that green, like that emerald green caddy. They had the 180 in it that had the goldish, yellowish valve cover and intake on it.
Oh yeah, okay.
That was at the Humble Meet also.
Yep.
That car, obviously we're gonna like it because of 180.
Yeah.
Mhm.
180 the world.
The swap was done great.
Yeah, it was.
Again, it was another swap that looked like it's supposed to be there.
So actually, probably one of my favorite Mark Ones of the whole show was the white Rabbit truck, and he had a 180 swap. It was all super show quality, polished everything, shaved bay.
Is that the one that had straight 90-degree piping coming right off the passenger side?
Yeah,
Kept
no, he
super
ran the 225 manifold. Everything was super, super, super good looking. But he ran the Mark IV Dash in the Mark One.
I saw that.
Yes.
And I love it so much. It's close to my heart because that's exactly how I did my swap in the Mark II.
My question is, was it actually in fact a Mark IV Dash, or was it a South African Rabbit Dash?
I know. I talked to him. It was definitely a Mark IV swap with the dash
Okay.
and everything. That's what prompted me to talk to him. He's a super cool guy too. We were just talking about it. He actually came and looked at my car for a while too, and we talked about the practicality of having all the Mark IV functionality of VCDS scanning and modules and the
Dude, we love
cluster.
it.
That's just how I did mine, and it's the way to go.
When we did the Mark III, that's one thing I wanted to be sure. I want to be able to hook up the VCDS.
Yep.
Yours, we can hook up VCDS through the engine alone, and we got full VCDS on the car still, other than anything engine related.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite cars, and I was glad to see it on the show field as well.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Any other Mark ones that really like?
Yeah, we talked about the silver one, the coupe, and we talked about the caddy. We talked about the cabbie.
Hey, don't get me wrong. We were going to do it as a pick your favorite car from each category. There were so many cars there that I couldn't pick, go from 1 through 10, which one's your favorite. I couldn't pick 10 alone that were my favorite because there was so much time, money, quality, work done there that I don't like the wheels on this one, but I don't like the engine in this one. But this body's better, this swap's done better.
Yeah.
So it's...
And like Mark 1 wise, there were so many rabbits there that were just so... Perfect. Like they don't have to be show car quality. They can have patina. They can have, ripped interiors. They're just...
Speaking of patina, the white Rabbit truck that had the blue rabbit right down the side. A little bit of rust on the top, a little bit of rust on the bed.
Or the blue Rabbit that had the original Rabbit decal with the jumping. Yes.
It was like...
I love those cars. The red one that was on the Audi Steelies.
It's one of those ones where you take the car as it is, all original paint, the original patina, or the perfect, fresh paint, everything.
Yeah.
Both of them look good, and they're both perfect in their own ways.
I've been saying it ever since I got back. I think I'm doing a Mark 1 Rabbit next because every time I go to Helen, I just see more and more of them, and I think that's the move for my next car.
Yeah. So on to the Mark IIs. Mine and your meet were going on at the same time.
Yep.
But so happenly, where I was at, we were at the corner lot of Cool River Tubing.
Okay.
I saw a bunch of the Mark IIs go down your way, so I got to see a lot of them. Two of them that spoke out to me that were perfect. The green one that we got the picture of right there in the rain coming down the main strip.
Yep.
The rally. That car was beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hear he drove that thing down from Ontario.
I did not hear that.
If I remember correctly from
No kidding.
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But if I recall, he's from Ontario.
Okay.
But that one struck out to me. And another one, even though it was a company car, and I know companies can put a little more money into it, Broken Co's that brownish green Mark II.
That's the one with the soft top conversion too.
Yes, it had the rag top.
Yes, that was cool.
That, and then it had the tweed Recaro seats in it.
Yes.
That car, that nailed it.
Yeah, it did. Absolutely.
Dude, Mark II's another one. There were so many Mark IIs that...
I actually had a really good time at the Mark II meet. I got to meet all the Mark II Mayday guys. I have to make it up to that show. I honestly do. I don't know what I'm doing. But they're all super cool. Their cars were super nice. Beautiful wheels. Just they had them posted perfectly. I liked when you walked into the Mark II meet, there were five rally cars.
Right there.
Right there, lined up on the side. And
when I left the Mark III meet, that's the first thing I saw coming up. all stacked.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, you never get to see that many in one place.
No.
And they were all pristine. They were all just beautiful. And then also Mark IIs, but at the pre-2K meet, they had the whole beach house area for all like the big time PVW Mark IIs. They were all Mark IIs.
Mayday had a bunch of their cars down there. PVW had, like Gates had his. Actually, he brought his new one this year.
Yeah.
The one that my first I saw him with his. It was like a super dark blue grayish color.
Yeah.
And
with the VR.
It was with the VR. He brought that car from paint like 2 days beforehand. All you see is them walk over to the car when it started to rain. Took 4 of them to set the hood down. They had rags all over the rain tray.
Yep.
Setting this hood back on this car. And me and Gates were talking about it.
Yep.
And he was like, "Dude, I remember that day."
Yeah.
Still that's one of the cleanest Mark IIs I've ever seen.
I think honestly, maybe it's because I'm partial, but the Mark IIs kind of were abundant in the top tier quality cars out there. They really were. Like, I wouldn't say they were better. I would just say there were so many heavy hitter Mark IIs out there.
He had the lowest level in there. It had maybe one of the strongest engines, but based on quality of the interior build, he had the lowest.
Mine's just a
Interior.
It's a rowdy.
Interior build, yes.
It's just a rowdy car.
Dave's
like-
engine bay, I love
I
Dave's
got a lot of
engine bay.
attention. I got a lot of attention just because I was riding around. It's got fat tires on it. It's just rowdy. Like, everybody's like, yeah, fuck yeah.
You were a battle stance.
It's not a show
You
car.
were a lowered battle stance.
Slightly. Those coilovers are like maxed all the way up, just so I don't hit tire.
Yeah.
So, any Mark IIs that you really got your eye?
I don't remember, man. What was that green Jetta? Was that a 1 or a 2?
Oh, the avocado?
Oh, the like the lime green, the electric lime green. Yeah, we can't forget about that Mark II.
No?
No, wait a minute. 1 year was an electric green Mark
Yeah.
I. This year, I think this year was a Mark II. If not, if it's a Mark I, we found his favorite Mark I.
Right.
That's me, though. I'm the Jetta guy in the group.
They were just dumb quality.
There were
Mark
some
IIs.
good.
That car
Jettas,
was
like,
phenomenal.
I remember the green
Jettas.
one. Me and you both took rollers of on the strip. Like,
Yes.
that thing was so
gorgeous. Yeah.
Like, you look at my pictures and your pictures, it looks like we used the same damn camera.
Yeah.
But no, we were
You
like
guys had the
15
same
feet
camera,
apart.
Like, you were like
15
right
feet
next
apart.
to each other, over each other's shoulders, just
I mean, we kind
right
of
there.
were.
Yeah.
We were 15 feet apart.
Yep.
It was like, oh, hey, look, bird. Nope, we heard that thing rev up a little bit, and it was like, yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Mark III meet.
Okay. I did not attend that one. I think
No.
I was at the Mark I meet while it was going on.
I wasn't expecting
How
to
was
get.
that Big Daddy's during the Mark III?
We got a lot of attention on our Mark III this year.
Yeah. I saw
Mine
it.
was the Mark III 18T on Schmitz, Tornado Red,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
with crappy paint. But dang, there's no clear coat polish up when there's no clear left.
Yeah.
I can honestly say there was quite a few cars there that definitely caught my eye. Obviously the Harlequins.
So let me ask you this. Why was every Harlequin there a pistachio base? Every single one.
No, not
No,
everyone.
there
was
The
a blue
Polo
base.
and the two Golfs that I saw were all pistachio based.
Yes,
There was
but
a
if you went to the
yellow
Mark
base.
III meet, there was a yellow base,
There was a yellow.
and there was a blue. I saw a blue base while we were there.
Okay.
I don't remember if that one was at the meet, but
See, I wish I went to the Mark III meet because I was under the assumption there were two Golfs and a Harlequin. That was it.
I mean, and Christian brought out the his baby blue Mark III.
No, so I've been-
Oh, that thing was gorgeous.
I've been watching a lot of his videos. I got acquainted with that car.
Yes.
I love that car.
But the one that really
He
struck my
hot-wired
eye.
it the whole weekend.
I saw it.
It's so funny.
So there was a one with I think it was a Porsche motor. Is it 3.2?
Or
3.2
V6.
VR?
Yeah.
No,
Anyway, it had the Porsche motor. And it was a baby blue or like
Mhm.
a like sky blue.
yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
That one, as soon as we were walking around, that one caught my eye.
And we saw that grayish one, the slight gray one with the wide body from last year.
Yeah.
That
Oh
one.
yeah. He had he said he did Corrado rear wide body and then a mixture of Mark II and Mark III parts to get that wide body the way it is.
Yeah.
Yes, that car also straight up phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then there was the black Mark III that had the VR with the Schrick intake manifold with the supercharger on it. Front to back, that car, every nut and bolt looks like it was touched and polished.
Yeah. And Lance's Mark III.
Lance didn't make the Mark III meet,
Oh, he
but
didn't?
for his car being a Sleeping Beauty for the last 7 years, and pulled it out and did a lot of work to that car to get it right. I mean, dude, 2 days before Helen, the alternator broke, or they were doing the water pump.
Yeah.
And his boy sheared the ear off the alternator.
Yep.
So
Lance,
he had to
is
take,
one of the guys that rode up with us. He has
it's like it's either a 96 or a 97 TDI.
It's a TDI
It's
car.
the maroon
TDI
one
Jetta.
on the Alpine reps.
Yep.
And he'll be the first one to say he got some cheap wheels, but they're good looking
It just
wheels.
looks so. It
I would-
looks.
Such a gorgeous car.
I would buy those wheels in a heartbeat. I don't care how cheap they are. They're a good looking wheel. And obviously, because people were asking, why wouldn't your boy at the Mark III meet? Why wouldn't he at the Mark III meet?
Yeah. I didn't realize he didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, like I said, the Harlequins.
Yeah.
You got a little Harlequin.
Enough said.
It's almost like older Solo, like older AVF. I remember when there used to be like 10 Harlequins just rolling around town all together.
They were mobbing it, dude. They
It
were
was-
mob squad.
It's still always so good to see him, even if it's one.
Yes.
But man, it seems like there's less and less every year. It kind of makes me sad.
Mm-hmm. And the what's it? That Mark III meet, dude. Phenomenal. Even though I felt like the terrestrial downpour followed me because I was soaking wet the entire Mark III meet. Every time I went to go get away from my car, somebody else was asking other questions, which I'm okay with because we're trying to get the name of the shop out, so it's perfect.
Yep.
But it finally got to a point where I could wring out my shirt like it was out the washer and dryer. I had to go home and take a shower.
Yeah.
So then we jump on to the meet that me and you could not get, or actually I made it to the Mark
You were
IV
there.
meet. I made it to the Mark IV meet, and then they were trying to tow my car, so I had to bounce.
Yeah.
I was the Mark IV
Oh,
meet.
yeah. Mark IV meet was awesome. I loved it. Our car, obviously.
Of course.
The only GSI swap Mark IV there. Also, the ugliest one at the meet,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's the only area that you guys had zero focus on.
Yeah, I mean, there was only one other car that I thought was uglier than this, but I won't mention names. Because the owner of the car was actually cool. I mean, dude, he's respectful, but it wasn't his car. It was the kit he used on his car. That bothered me.
All right. The wagons, the Mark IV wagons this year.
You gotta love a Mark IV wagon.
You can't
Oh,
not.
There
And
was some super clean wagons
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
With the kits and everything, just beautiful. Yeah, a couple of them were full kit cars.
Like the Bora R wagon that was
Yeah.
there.
Yes. I think that was my favorite for sure.
You know, at the Mark IV meet, I saw a car. I was trying to tell you guys about it, but I had to leave to go up to the Unicoi. But there was a Mark IV Jetta there, and it had a 3, I think it was a 3.2 turbo, and it had a full Haldex swap. I don't know if it was Bora R or if they did an R32 rear, but like I actually, for some reason, I was like, I wonder if this is all-wheel drive, and I looked underneath because I saw the transmission. I look underneath, and no shit, it was Haldex swap too, and I think not a lot of people realized it, but I saw Jordan and I saw Chili, and I was like, you gotta look at that blue Jetta over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking back on Mark III's, the Passat Syncra,
Oh,
that red Syncra.
Yes.
yeah. That thing
100%.
was
That
thing
was my favorite car of the
unbelievable.
week.
We were just,
Yeah.
talking, we were just talking about the
Passat
we were
now.
talking about
Yeah.
talking about the wagons. So I was like, dude, we cannot forget that red
No,
Syncra.
you cannot. It had a that R&D
Yeah.
supercharger setup on it.
And it also had that Shirk valve cover.
Oh, it was so good. Everything about that car was good.
Phenomenal.
There's nothing you can say. Like that was just.
It pushed Jordan to buy one.
Yeah, he did.
But his is definitely not a Syncra,
No.
and it's definitely not that queen.
No. Now between Mark III and Mark IV, what about that twin turbo 12 valve Cabrio
Dude,
with the Synchro swap that not a lot of people realize? That HPA Cabrio, the black one, was Synchro swapped, floor pan swapped.
I didn't realize that was Synchro actually.
So I was at the Mark II meet actually, oddly enough, and it parked off to the side, and I walk up on it, and at first from the distance I thought it was a 2.7. I was like, oh shit, because I saw the two pipes going over the top. I walk up and it's a twin turbo VR, and I realized it was an early HPA car, and I started like, wow, that's really cool, twin turbo 12 valve, and I started walking away, and Jordan's like, hey, come here, and the owner was standing right there. And he lifts up the rear floor mat, and it's a rear pan from a Syncro. So I look underneath, and no shit, it's all-wheel drive too. I was like,
Nice.
this thing must be fun. Like,
Yes.
So the Mark IV meet. There's quite a few cars. I can't pick our favorite.
I know. I said, all the kitted cars.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to be biased. I really liked our car this year.
Yeah.
We did something that hasn't been done yet.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's the best car out there because it's for sure as hell was not the best car out there.
I mean,
But-
you've been active enough on Burn All the Mark IVs. Like a lot of people actually knew about this car.
Yeah.
And the coolness factor of them walking up to you like, hey, this is it.
Yeah.
Like people you've never met before.
Yeah, and now we're all friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
No, I mean this was definitely one of the top cars I liked in the Mark IV, but I know it's opposite because me and Chili built it.
Well, yeah. Plus,
But-
it is very unique.
Yes.
And very. I mean, it's eaten up you guys' lives in the past 6-8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Now I can say one of my favorites was it was like the Rave Green wagon
Oh God, I
that
love
had
that
the
thing.
Bora had the Bora R front end on it.
Yes.
That wagon, super clean. And then there was that like, I don't want to call it mulberry because it wasn't quite mulberry, but it had looked like 19s or 20s. It was on air and it was a full face wheel. That car
Okay.
looked good.
Yep.
Those are honestly the wagons had me this year.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There was plenty of R's that looked great. There were
I actually I saw a bunch of the R's just cruising up Unicoi Mountain.
Mhm.
They all stuck
Yeah.
together, and I was like, "That's what you should be doing." I'm a prior R owner.
Go
I would have
wookie
been
it up.
I would have been driving the shit out of it. Like that's all I would have been doing.
But then we're off to the Mark V's.
Mark Fives, Thunder Bunnies and Euro Rabbit, the white on white on the show field, the white on white Mark V with the RX2s, yeah, the super concave ones.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That car was just unbelievable, super clean. I love the kit on it. It's actually one of my favorites on a Mark V of all time.
My favorite Mark V was, it's not about the build, but it's about the car and what it stood for.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Jetta GLI that had the cut hood, dude converted the back seat into a dog bed with all factory leather and factory fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Laying right on top of it was the service dog jacket.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was like, dude, this is not my car; it's my dog's car also. And it was super clean. Like that was. Yes, it probably wasn't the fastest build. Yes, it probably wasn't the show car build.
Right.
But that car did it for me.
Yeah,
It
it's
is-
super cool.
It's like, you putting a Recaro car seat in your back seat for your kid. It's
But-
cool. So yeah, that one definitely had me. And then
My favorite was the actual Fahrenheit, not Travis's Celsius. The actual Fahrenheit with the color matched grill.
Was it the
The one-
Tarmax one or the?
no, I know which one you're talking about. It's
was it-
everything on the front end was orange,
Mhm.
except it had a couple small black outlines.
Yeah.
But the entire grill set on the front was all color matched.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I thought that
yes,
was really good. Yeah.
Nice.
it took a second for it to grow on me, but then I looked back a couple times and I'm like, I see what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I don't
Just-
remember where I was for the Mark V meet, but everything I heard, I should have went to it. Like, I don't think I was doing anything else.
Oh,
I was doing something else,
Yeah.
but I don't remember like why it was more important than the Mark V meet.
oh no, y'all. That's when you and everybody else went up to the mountain that one time, and we were like, no, we're not going.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, those were our favorite Mark V's.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the stuff that's on the show field for the Mark V's that we didn't pick definitely deserved to be on the show
Oh
field.
God, yeah. I mean, it's weird. I
But
actually Mark V is like the last generation that I like until like 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just kind of, I was
Well,
okay with the Mark V.
Mark V is one of those years where it's Volkswagen stepped away from the traditional look a little bit. Like they went to
Yeah.
they went to the round. Yes, it took me to finally buy one
yeah,
and
that's
drive
fine.
it, but you can't really say that either because mine's an '09, so it has the Mark VI CCTA in it.
Mm-hmm.
But like the comfortability of the car, the interior, it doesn't feel as cheap as a Mark IV does if you look at it. Oh, it's Brillet bricks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The soft
Soft.
like the center console doesn't
Yeah.
have the soft touch on it.
Yeah.
It has like dash material on it. It's so yes.
I like the Mark V.
Mark V. I really, honestly, I think I got into it with the PSP Need for Speed Underground when one of the choices of the cars was the Golf R.
Yep.
But once I finally got one, yes, I never liked the taillights. I never liked the headlights, how they looked. When I finally got one and realized what you can do with them, it's really grown on me. But mine was also probably one of the cheapest Mark 5s you can buy in the area back then, and now it's got 200-some thousand miles on it.
I mean, over the years, I've had quite a few friends with super clean Mark 5s, and it has a kind of a place in my heart because, like, as I was coming up with Volkswagens, I was a Mark 4 kid, and I love those. Don't get me wrong, but like all my friends had super clean Mark 5s.
You wanted to upgrade, like feel like you're an upgrade to them.
I just really appreciated them because I really loved what my friends were doing with them. You know, one of them had like a track ready Rabbit and Turbo Rabbit. It was cool as hell. And a bunch of Stancy boys and
and you look at Travis's car.
Yes,
he's the only one, like you said. He had, we call it the Fahrenheit, and we're calling it the Celsius because it's not Fahrenheit orange.
Right. Yeah, he got it painted an Audi color.
Audi R8 orange.
Yep. And
it was sitting right next to a Fahrenheit, which was not Fahrenheit orange. It was wrapped that blue and black. So you had the real one here that's not orange, while you have a fake one here that is orange.
But it's funny. I actually love the way that paint came out. Like, it looks, at a quick glance, you think it is a Fahrenheit.
100%.
Yeah. Like,
until you look closely and see there's that little
until
bit
you
of flake.
see them next to each other and you can see the difference.
Yeah, his is darker.
Yeah. But his is a super good looking car too. He did the interior trim to match. I mean, it's sharp.
Yeah, on the door panels he did the black, gray, and red plaid on everything.
Yep.
I mean, his car was torn to pieces 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So he was another one of our guys that had his whole car torn apart. They had to repaint it twice. Finally get it back. Overspray everywhere.
Yep.
Sensors broken for the door panels. So he was pushing to get his car done too.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So the Mark 6s. I didn't see a lot. Actually, I didn't see a lot of Mark 6s there.
You know what? I think that's what it was. I'm not going to hate on Mark 6s, but I really didn't see that many there.
And I didn't, like, the Mark 6 meet, we didn't get a chance to go to it between all the other meets.
Yep.
Like, I do know one in particular.
I do too, actually, yeah.
There was a white one with the chopped hood.
Yep.
Super
I was
clean.
about to say that same one.
So the reason why that one brought my attention is because the day we got there,
I got 4 pictures of it in 4 different locations, not realize it's the same car. One section was with the hood, one section was without the hood.
So that's the guy. He's starting a company. He's doing air ride installs. He does powder coating. He does all kinds of custom stuff.
Is he the one that did the air ride stall later on in the afternoon?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
So he's actually super cool. So me and Tommy, the first day we got there, Tommy bought a rear diffuser off of him.
Yes, that guy.
So we went down there, realized that car was sitting there, and he started talking to us about it. And honestly, it goes down as my favorite Mark 6 because he gave us a really in-depth look at everything that was done to it.
Before it was even at the meet, before it was clean.
Yeah.
We got actually see his car as if he.
This was actually pre-meet.
Yes.
Pre-early bird meet.
It was like an hour. It was like an hour before the pre-meet. He was already parked. That's where Tom.
And the dude was super cool. He was showing us, like, he's been doing powder coating and custom stuff for years, and there wasn't a thing on this car that wasn't like done to the max.
Yeah.
It was just it was very well done.
Well, he didn't powder coat his valve stem caps.
Oh, maybe not. I'm not sure. No, you know what? Maybe he did.
I don't know.
I forget.
If they did, they look good.
Yeah. But no, that guy was super cool to talk to. Really down-to-earth guy. I was talking to him and his buddy about a Mark II 1.8T swap, of course. Somehow that comes up every time I'm around.
Mm-hmm. Now, I honestly, I know one is because we didn't go to the Mark 6 meet.
Yeah.
Because we were all between all our other meets.
And he was a booth car anyway.
Booth car or not, I'll give him.
Oh yeah, it was spectacular.
Yeah. Because some of the cars we saw, like when you rolled up, they looked like they were actually driven to the show, and they were not booth cars.
Yeah.
So his was one of those ones where he was talking the way the car, like, wasn't dirty, but it looked like it's been like it's a driven car.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, dude's super down to earth, and that alone kind of sells it for me because cool people are better than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Mark 6 for you? Same one. Same one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we get to the infamous Mark 7s. I know my two.
Yep. I'm just gonna sit this one out because I know why you love Mark 7s because you have one, you know.
Hey, dude, we picked up a Mark 7 for $1,500. What's there not to like?
And it's has so much potential. It's gonna be so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna sit it out, I'll go ahead and give my 2.
Yep.
The Oettinger Mark 7.
That dark emerald green
Mhm.
Oettinger Mark 7 on the big face wheels on the air, dude. Mwah.
Yeah.
That car, everything about it looked good. I went back to that car 4 or 5 different times to look at it.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was the color, if it was the Oettinger kit, or the fact it was a Mark 7. But to me, the Mark 7, Volkswagen came back out with the roots. Like,
honestly,
all aggressive.
I will say I do love the Mark 7, the styling of it in general.
And the fact I have an Oettinger kit that's sitting up there, not on the car, is
Part
like,
of an Oettinger kit.
Oh,
Part of an Oettinger
I have
kit,
most of
right?
it, or I have most of it.
But that being said, now you have goals.
Yes, now I have goals to bag
Now
mine.
you know what it's going to look like.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, yes, that's the big thing. Now that I know what it actually looks like on the car,
Right.
and seeing it color match, dude, that car.
Yeah, I was right
Spot
there.
on.
I was right there with you on the show field when you were like taking videos of it, and I was like, you know what, this thing is actually very well done. I
The
agree.
The only thing
And
different
the
was like,
R that was right next to it.
yes,
Yeah.
That was also Oettinger. kit,
that was a Golf R Oettinger.
Yeah.
That one looked just as good.
No kidding.
Mhm.
I think honestly, the only reason I'm gonna choose the green one over the Reflex, the color of the green one, the way that green popped, just
Wasn't the Reflex the one that was the VR swap?
that I'm not sure. I was too busy looking at Oettinger kits.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that when we get to the other meets.
So the other Mark 7 that really hit it off to me was the Spectrum Purple one with the Audi swap.
Mm-hmm.
I got that car a couple different times, not realizing it was the same car, and I definitely did not expect.
That was a good looking car too.
Yeah.
I did not expect
It's
I didn't
the
notice it until they
colors,
started
though.
the car up, and I was like,
Yeah. You hear a Mark 6 or Mark 7 start up, and you hear VR noises. You're like, what is? Because that happened last year too. There was that dude that had the Mark 6 that was 3.6 swapped.
Mm-hmm.
but nothing is. I start the Mark 7, it sounds like a rowdy Mark 6, it sounds like a TSI. They started this up, you have straight up R.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, there's a couple other ones like the Miltech Yellow Golf, that mustard yellow Golf,
Yep.
looked very good. But again, it falls down to, we know that's a booth car,
Yeah, of course.
and I'm not taking it away from it, but I want the like R class guys. You know, we can do this.
People who show up and get, yeah.
Yeah, like you ain't got much money, I ain't got much money, but what can we build? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yes, the Oettinger and that the Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, we saw 2 VR swap Mark 7s this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
There was a silver one,
Yeah.
and then the
That was
purple
the
one.
silver one.
yeah, and that was at the Humble DAP meet.
Yes.
It was I basically watched them walk up to his car, realize it was a VR swap, and just instantly sticker him. Like I was like, yeah, that obviously, like
Yeah.
For sure.
like, yeah, that was funny. Charles just like took off running around all across the parking lot. And I
Sorry,
saw
Paul.
him. Yeah, and he the dude drove by 5 minutes later. Was like, got my sticker.
I'm out, and now I'm out before you scratch it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Mark 7?
The ones we just mentioned.
So
Yeah.
you're
I
a
brought
jogger?
up the other R that was next to the.
Sure,
the
it's a
other
Golf R,
bigger
okay.
Yeah. I
So-
think that was it. I think that was my favorite.
Sweet.
Yep.
Now, last but not least, at least for the
Probably least.
classifications.
Yeah,
Probably least.
Yeah.
They're still brand new. They're all pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark 8s.
So, like one of our friends was saying, like most of the Mark 8s in attendance, they were all booth cars.
Yeah.
They were all the shop
Yeah.
cars, like Euro tunings, and all the shop car, all the big companies have Mark 8s on the show field. That's
And we personally know we have 3 just within our V-Dub family.
Yep.
We have Tim Costa with
Yep.
his Golf R.
yep,
We have Sean with his
20th, the 20th edition R.
the 20th edition R.
Yep,
And then we have Mo that has the GTI.
yep, and we have Rodney too with the
Right,
Moose
yeah,
thing.
Rodney has one now too.
Yep. I
Mo-
mean,
Mo's car looks good. It sounds phenomenal.
Yep. Yeah, he upsold the fact that he sells wedge wheels and everything like that,
Mhm.
and The car is very tastefully modified in a performance aspect.
Yes.
It's a battle stance car. He takes it to the track.
He can actually put numbers down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's tuned and everything like that. It's a very, very tastefully modded, well-rounded car.
Yeah,
for sure.
I got to annihilate the mountains in that car last year when it was bone stock.
Dang, that's. Remember we said we forgot to do something over there?
I didn't drive his car this year.
I forgot to drive it this year.
He told me too.
He was like, go shred it up the mountains.
Yeah.
It's like, can I do better than Dan? He's like, probably.
Yeah. Last year I got the ass end of that car to kick out on me, and I was like, ooh, Mark 8's oversteer, sweet.
Yes. Nah,
but his is a very, very, very nice, tastefully all-around modded car, and he did get selected for the Mutts Nuts. He was on the show field.
as much crap as we gave him, he deserved it.
No, it's a very good-looking car. It really is. He definitely deserved it. That car.
By
is
the
super
way,
clean.
if they don't know which car that is, it's the one that was in the center of the field with the giant Weisberg logo on the back.
Like
It was a banner.
I was over at Integrated Engineering's tent, and I look across the show field, and all I see is Weissworks.
We were expecting him to put it on the windshield, like the banner like this one back here. We didn't see it till the day of.
Yeah, he put it down low on the rear hatch, and it just jumps out at you, like from far away.
Like, me and Chili being the owners of Weissworks feel that banner could have been a little bit smaller.
I don't know. I liked it.
I mean, I liked it. I loved it. I mean, our
You could
name
see
was...
it from the other side of the show field.
Yeah.
Of course, I liked it.
Hey, your name was.
It was like
on the
seeing
show
Hunter's
field.
big tower that he had above his trailer.
Yep.
It's there.
Yep.
Can't miss it.
And yeah, your name was on the show field. There's what's better than that?
Having the Mutts Nut sticker
Yeah.
right on the front of that car with
Yeah.
my name on the back.
Yeah, hey. He's one of my homies, though.
Yes,
it was
for
well
sure.
deserved.
Sorry, Mo. We know we give you a lot of crap, but
Yeah, we love to see
we're
it.
happy for you.
We love to see it.
Oh yeah, and the other thing we had, our group had Mark 1 through Mark 8.
Oh my God!
Yes.
I was obsessing about that all weekend.
We
Let's
have
go,
to
so
do that.
let's go down the list. Kay had the Mark 1 Caddy, the
Yep.
AVA swap. You had the Mark 2 180 swap.
Yep.
I had the Mark 3 180 swap. Of
I
course,
had the
you had
Mark
this
4
guy
TSI
over
swap.
here, Mark 4
This
TSI
beauty.
swap. We had Travis with the Celsius Mark 5
Yep.
KO4 swap.
Yep.
We had Tommy with a CCTA.
Yeah.
Mark 6.
Mark
It's the
6
one. It's
stage
the one
2.
on Mo's old Mark 8 wheels.
Yes, on Mark 8 wheels.
Yep.
We had Brandon in the Sport Wagon Mark 7.
Which that car is crazy.
Bad.
That car is like full track ready. Actually, the one
He's
day
got
Well, we got
He's
finished.
got the-
And then the Mutts Nuts Mark 8 Mo's car.
Of course. So the funny story about Brendan, we were up on the mountain and he was just doing drive-bys. We were all sitting there talking at one of the overlooks. And we're all sitting there talking and he just comes screaming by on this curve. And we're like, yeah, he's just getting hot laps in. And we all hear tires squealing. And we all turn around and he is drifting this car. Because it's an Ultra,
Yeah.
right? And like he started losing it. We were all like, oh no. And he come off of it and got back in it, and like it was pretty scary. He crossed that line, he did. But hey, he found the limit of that car, and let me tell you, it looked scary fast. Like he really.
No, he's got a GTI turbo or a Golf
No, he's
R?
got an IS-38 swap on that
Yeah.
He's
car.
got 38.
Yeah, on the little 180.
Yeah, that car smoked all of us in the mountains,
Yes.
hands down.
Like we were talking about, me and Travis were talking about it. On that turn, we were looking at the videos. On an order, it'd be Brandon took it the best coming around those turns.
Oh yeah,
And then me and Travis were talking about whose line was better and who took it faster. I think his lines were better. I was going in it faster, but I ended up having to slam the brakes as the back started to kick.
yeah.
So it's
You're in a lot lighter of a car too, so you
Correct.
can. Yeah,
I could sling the car around. The problem is there's no weight on that back.
yeah.
And it kicked. Once it kicked, I was like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I also didn't know what's coming around the turn.
But yeah, like we were saying, all weekend I was obsessing. I was like, our cabin has Mark 1 through 8, all from Virginia. I was like,
Except Mo, but he's a Virginia boy with us.
yeah,
Well, he's
was
fam.
Yeah.
But even if not, our
Tim?
Tim was there. Tim was there
had
with
the
his Mark 8R.
They just left on Saturday, so
Yeah.
they couldn't get the picture with us.
Which
So-
was sad, but either way, I needed to get that picture, and I got it.
And even if not, Sean had the 20th.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I didn't for some reason I didn't see him down there. I know everybody talked to him.
I saw him over the place. He came over with his umbrella after I'm already drenched during the Mark III meet. He's like, "You need some umbrella?" I was like, "No, I need a shirt."
Right. What's next? Pre-2K and then all the Humble.
Yeah, the pre-2K meet was phenomenal.
So that was my favorite meet of the entire event. It was my first real time bringing the Mark II down, because last time I brought it down, it basically sat still
And stumbled.
It was terrible. I crapped out fuel pump after fuel pump on that trip. I had fuel issues. I barely drove the car.
The worst decision you ever made. Let's go big turbo.
Yeah. When that car was KO4, I promise you, it
ran like my car.
reliable and quick and everything I needed. And then I decided to go big turbo, and now it's running good. Mm-hmm. Now it's running. I finally got it ironed out, but I struggled for years getting that thing back to decent.
But it took me and Chili, almost 10 hours to go through some of that wiring, trying to figure out what the hell is going on for the cluster, and then figure out why you kept shorting starters.
Yeah, and I still have wiring issues. My wipers.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
We'll put Jordan in the passenger seat. We'll put the old school Humvee or Jeep Wranglers back in the day.
Yeah.
Put one of those little washers.
Or the strings on either side.
There you go.
No, when you turn the wheel, we'll have it tied to the wheel. So when you turn left.
Yeah. Well, then I'll just be like, I'll be bobbing and weaving on the highway trying to clean my windscreen.
In the rain, it'll be fine. Don't worry about
Cool,
it.
you got it. We'll just have to gear reduct it a little bit.
But this year I brought the Mark II down, and it did so well. The trip down, all the mountain roads there. So I was so excited about the pre-2K meet.
Your biggest issue was your deadline, because you just got back from Fallon also.
Oh, my God,
2 weeks to spare.
10 days before we left for Helen, I got back from over a month out on the other side of the country. And I had little to no time to get that car wrapped up. And I had a lot to do. I had to do the entire front suspension and wheel bearings, and I should have done axles.
Hey, your car made it all the way back to your block before it broke. I consider that a win.
My axle broke turning onto my street on the return trip. And it was fine. I was able to get into my driveway. The axle will be here probably tomorrow.
Be here tomorrow.
Nice. So I'll have that car back up for this weekend. But
the hardest part about the whole thing was while you were gone, we had your car.
Yep.
Your harness was still sitting on the floor.
Yep.
We had Cameron from C7 Audi owners here. Mm-hmm. And this was like, dude, we were so booked. Like, what do? We got to get one of these two cars done.
Yep.
Waiting on parts. We got to pull all this out to do this. We got to do this on this car. Right. The Mark III, we got to do this. It was just spot. It was one thing after another.
Everything was super crunch, obviously. It's right up until...
Yeah, it was that way for the past
And it's always going to be like that. Like
I can honestly say, I think because we decided we were going to pull a hat trick and do a transmission, a K-frame, this, and this on Tommy's car last minute.
Yep.
Get his car ready. Your car,
Kay's
my car, Kay's car.
Kay's car.
There was two cars right there. Like, you were expecting your car to be done, and then you had to bring it to us. We were expecting to only focus on Kay's car, my car, your car. And, yeah, about that.
Yeah. But, I mean, regardless.
Then we had the actual regular everyday customer work we had to do, too.
Right.
So, I'll say this year, even the first year we went, when we did the Mark III, our deadline was not this close. Last year, our deadline wasn't this close. We still had like 4 days left with your car last year before we went.
But I think that speaks a lot for the shop victories.
Yes.
Because we brought 4 swapped cars. 5 swapped cars.
It would have been 5. Jordan's. Right. We were going to bring one more. We were going to bring one more swap car. Sure. Me and Dan actually, like 2 nights before Helen, we drove 30 miles away to Jordan's house to go take a look at his Mark II. Come to find out, the clutch fork was bent.
Yeah, that was kind of too bad.
If Chili's car was completely done, your car was completely done, there would have been time for us to get his car done. But with the few wiring elements we had to sort out, I didn't want to risk this car not making it.
It's all right. He's gonna have something. He's got something better now, anyway.
He's got that lovely. I'll give you a hint. It's a wagon, but you got to figure out the rest.
Yeah, thanks. But no, he's gonna come out with something cool next year, whether it's the Mark II or the new car.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had 3 or 4 swap cars.
4 swap cars. Yeah.
And we made over 1,300 miles round trip because
This had 30 miles on it before it went on the trip.
Yep.
Yours has been tested. You were beating on it left and right. I was beating on the Mark III left and right. If it's going to break, it's going to break it.
True. It hasn't. Mine's been tested, but I had issues right up until basically we left.
Yeah.
I can tell you the only one I was super, super worried about wasn't this. We knew the engine was good.
Yeah.
We knew the wiring was good when it started. It was
Right.
Case truck.
Case truck, but it's an ABA swap.
I mean, it's an ABA swap.
That's the most reliable platform you.
I get it.
Like,
Well, we got it. We didn't really dive into it that much to check everything out.
I got to start. I was like, cool, let's figure out why I started. You know, hour
And
worth
he
of
drove for a
diag.
week and a half.
Yeah.
Not
That
even.
was
He had
it.
it for 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he drove it all around town. It was good to go. I mean, I wasn't worried about the engine.
Yeah.
And I wasn't worried about the drive line.
Right.
The truck ran great. And other than the fuel sensor, the
Right.
fuel level sensor, which there's an easy fix for that. Every time we stop to use the bathroom or get gas, fill it up.
You know what's funny about that is we were anticipating 3 of us not having working fuel gauges this trip, and then
We got yours done.
right at the last minute, I'm talking like the day before, you got his done,
Yep.
and I figured mine out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
So if
all
you-
had
if you
working
watch-
fuel gauges.
So if you watched in the last video, the whole reason why I got his running was because he ran out of gas.
Yep.
So,
And I
Hey.
found that broken wire under the steering column, and that was my issue.
yeah, which I pinpointed it, but
Yeah.
your harness was so dang tucked.
But
it's
I
like-
just know it. I just know my car so well. It's almost
Lesson learned: if you didn't do the swap or do the wiring,
Yep.
you fix it yourself.
I guess I just knew where to look because that harness is
Well, we noticed
is not
through it a
pretty.
million
but-
Well, we
times.
noticed as soon as you hit the steering wheel or hit something,
Yep, the clutch.
you would lose everything.
It was the clutch.
So you end up looking
Yeah.
up there, and voila, there's the 4 broken wires sitting right there.
Yep. So that's cool. I had all my cluster indications. Everything was fine. Did we talk? Pre-2K.
We talked to we already talked about pre-2K.
Yeah, it was my favorite meet of the whole thing.
Honestly,
I think my favorite meet actually was the Corrado Sirocco meet.
Oh, you know what? We stumbled upon that by accident, and
Yeah.
we took a walk through.
Yes.
honestly, I saw a few of them, but I didn't see nearly as many Corrados or Scirocco's this year as in the past years.
The Scirocco's, I think, showed
There
out
was,
this
like-
year.
Now, there was an A1 Scirocco there with
Yes.
the dual rounds. Yo, it had my heart.
Yeah, and the guy that was on the show field with the red.
Yes.
He this man goes all out for car shows. You could tell he's like super involved with the car shows.
Mhm.
He has a flag that he puts up. He had you know what I mean? Like he has a little building the plaque and everything like that. Love him to death. It's really cool to see like the dude's enthusiasm for going out to the show, and it was a very nice car.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite meet was obviously because I wanted to see one particular car there,
Mm-hmm.
which after me digging with this wiring, seeing what they did, what we were doing, it was the Humble meet.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul and Charles are phenomenal dudes.
Oh, absolutely.
And me and Jordan got to go see the car as soon as Paul unloaded off the truck,
Mhm.
and we actually got to shoot it before anybody else did.
Yep.
It was sitting right in the middle of Women's of Wolfsburg's meet,
That was before the vinyls were on it.
right before the vinyls went
Yeah.
on. And I'll tell you, Paul let us look around, stick our head in it, look into the engine bay. For the deadline they have, and these 2 swaps never being done before,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that car was done phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And then to shoot it afterward, I should get a couple pictures of it afterwards. Their graphics and their style, their brands, Shop Dap,
Yeah.
Liquid Molly on the hood.
Yeah.
Then-
1552.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, they did a phenomenal
It
job.
was a
with the car.
modern version. I actually
Yeah.
saw a comment on like an engine swap page,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, they didn't even nail the exact replica of the Jetta from Fast
That
and
wasn't the
Furious."
point.
That's
It's
what I
like
said.
Paul said straight up, this is what the car should have been.
Yes. That's why that's what I said. It's like this car is a nod to. It's not a
Yeah.
replica of.
Yeah.
But you
And
know what?
it started off with jokes. They had the Mark V
Yeah.
also that's Fast and the Furious scheme.
Yep.
So, no, I mean,
But the car was super clean.
the only thing I would have wished they would have had, they had the full kit on the car
Mhm.
except the spoiler. I wish we could have saw it with the spoiler.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
I understand the tight deadline they have,
Oh, of course.
which a lot of people have been following just the videos and not their actual pages. Dude, we thought we had a tight deadline. They had it even tighter.
Oh God, I'm sure they did.
And the other thing is, I'm not gonna say we took the easy way out because we didn't. We wanted the third pedal.
Right.
But then the problem with that is we now ran into vehicle speed. We run into a clutch problem. Or a flywheel problem. So we figured all of that.
But they figured out
They
DSG.
figured
But they figured out DSG.
Which
They had
is
to figure out
big.
engine mounts.
Yes. Oh, they didn't have to figure out engine mounts. They had to modify, remake, redesign, 3D print. Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then not even that. Then you get into the miracle diff. Smacking everything.
Yes.
The miracle diff.
So no, I give that car. I knew that car was our push.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and simple as that.
Because we
It's-
heard that they were going to be bringing a Mark III TSI swap.
No, 6 months after we started working on this and putting videos out, they dropped that. Oh, there's no way. Our car's got to be there.
Yeah.
No, it's not to prove that. It's not to prove anything, but it's just like, dude, they're doing a TSI. We're doing a TSI. What better? Let's get it there.
Yeah.
And I mean, last minute we got the vehicle speed, coolant temp, speedometer, tachometer, air. Or is it only 2 lights we have in the cluster right now? Is an airbag light and a check engine light, which.
Right.
We can say hello to them every time we start the car because half of those ain't getting geared up. But now there was quite a few cars at Humble's meet that I really
Oh
liked.
God, there were so many, and I mean every time I go to AVF and I go to the Humble Mechanic or Shop DAP meet, they're always like the coolest dudes. You just walk up to him, you're like, "Hey Charles, what's up?" And he goes, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like he's been your friend forever. Like,
Right.
You see Wish.com Humble over here?
Hey.
yeah, they're super personable. Like you just talk to them about whatever, and they'll just bullshit with you.
Oh, absolutely.
I love
I
it.
like when he was unloaded, or after Paul brought it up the mountain, parked it up top.
Mhm.
Charles was up there when me and Tommy went up, or was it me or Tommy or me or Jordan? Charles just jumped right up. He's like, "You got your car down there?" I was like, "Yeah, our car's down there." He's like, "Cool, we'll have you down there in a minute." Not sure where Paul's going to park it,
Right.
but in which, based on where Paul parked it, I'm kind of glad we didn't park next to it.
He was gonna park it right next to it.
Correct.
But he put it out at the
But
right there
where-
at the beach house.
Right, but where he put it, it made it a perfect opportunity if anybody wanted to park next to it and get a picture. Bam.
Yep.
And I didn't want to take that from anybody.
Yeah.
And plus, where we were parked at, we had our whole group right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had
You had
I like-
4 or
I like
5
that.
White
We had-
Works cars
yeah,
right there.
And Charles 034 Golf R was sitting right there.
Yep.
We had that beautiful Porsche sitting right behind us.
Yep.
I mean, it's. Sorry about that. We used all our battery.
Battery died. Battery died.
So we were talking about the Humble Mechanic meet. We
Yep.
were all in that group.
Yeah, we were parked up right there on the corner. Lots of
He
people.
never came and talked to us though.
True.
You see how busy he was?
I know.
Yeah. No, that man. So you saw that the park ranger kept coming down. He kept having to feel
Every
bad.
15
Hey, that
Yeah.
park
ranger came
that
down.
park ranger, I'm gonna tell you, some of them guys were on their way to a couple tickets. That park ranger gave them, you got 2 choices: drink your beer as you're going to the trash can, or throw it away right
Yep.
now.
Yeah, they had, so
You can
yeah.
walk to the trash can, throw it away.
So Charles was busy. He was
Yeah.
he was managing the whole meet. He was coordinating things. His film crew was running around. He had to do his bits.
Well,
And-
that's the other thing.
No, he was busy the whole time. I would have gone and talked
Every
to him,
single
but he was
person at the
busy.
meet wants to talk to him.
Yeah.
And us, like, yes, I wanted to actually talk to him about the Mark IV,
Mhm.
but am I upset about it? No. How many other people came to, dude, stop us, and we were talking for 30 to 45 minutes
Yeah.
about our car
Mhm.
alone.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, we had the one guy who wants to try to get us as a vendor for his wheel company.
Mhm.
He saw the swap, and he knew exactly what it was. A couple guys from Northern Virginia came over,
There was
and
a lot of people from Northern Virginia that we met at that meet.
they were
I
all,
was kind of surprised, honestly.
and honestly, like, some of the guys were like, I hate this motor. I completely hate this motor. But
Yeah.
the fact, I've seen it on YouTube.
Yep.
You got the car here and you drove it here,
Mm-hmm.
dude. I may not like the motor, but that's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think as a shop, we definitely put a big name out there for us this year.
You know what's funny? I did say that the pre-2K meet was my favorite meet of the whole time, but I'm also got to consider that the pre-2K meet for me rolled into the
Correct.
The,
Yeah.
Because
the
I showed
Jack
up, I showed up in the middle of the pre-2K. Me and you got right beside one another.
So I was up on that mountain for like
4
5 hours.
Yeah, we were there 5 hours.
yeah, like it was all one big meet for me.
So I jumped from the Mark IV meet after they went to go tow my car. I jumped in it.
Yeah.
I walked back. You gave me a ride back. I jumped in my car. Met you at the pre-2K meet 15 minutes in. Surprisingly, there was a parking spot still.
Yep.
And
Because I had my good parking. That's what set it off. Is I had my good parking from the pre-2K meet because I got
Yeah.
there early, and then everybody just kind of like crowded around me and built out from that.
And then everybody left in the pre-2K. I parked.
Yep.
You parked his car. You parked yours, and it just slowly became where we left one spot open because that's where Charles said he wanted to drop the car off at.
Yeah, he grabbed some random kid that was standing by us.
Stay here.
And he's like, stand there, stand there.
Nah, dude. I had the most fun, like, being able to talk to people.
Yeah.
At the,
That's my favorite
the
part of
homie.
it. That's my favorite part of ADF is you just talk like this with
Yeah.
complete strangers and
another one was like, the car. Obviously, me and him had different views on, he thought he was going to get more traction at the Mark IV meet.
yeah.
I thought we were going to get more traction at the Humble meet because, hey, 2 TSI cars here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't tell you which one was more than the other. Because,
The humble meat. I would say the humble meat.
I mean, I talked to a couple different people at the Mark IV meet, but I was also walking around, and a couple of them, while I was walking around, brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one guy who had the 2 guys in the back. It was a Mark V truck and a Mark IV truck. One of them was joking with us left and right. He's like, "You should keep 180 in it. Put a 180 back in.
Oh, yeah,
you know, I got rid of my 2-liter to put a 180 in it." And dude was cool as hell. And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, give me a few minutes. I'll come over and look at your truck." Truck was doing great.
Yeah.
And while we were over there, he was like, "As much crap as I'm giving you about it, it's dope that it's done because it's one of the first ones done." And it was like, as I'm walking around, obviously I'm wearing a Weissworks shirt then, and it matches the car. You were in a Weissworks, so everybody knew.
I was wearing Weissworks all weekend
Yeah.
because that's what I had clean.
Yeah. So everybody knew what car belonged to who,
Yeah.
pretty much. And then we had Philip came by. He's actually interested in. He actually contacted me a lot in the last couple of days. We've been trying to get everything together for him to do his TSI swap.
Okay.
And then our friend
Mark
from
IV as well.
Is that the
Yeah.
dude with the GLI?
Yep.
Just
And then our
GLI?
friend from last year, who we beat him to the punch,
Yep.
he wants us to help him start getting everything together for him. So, man, on a shop aspect, this car is definitely going to put us on the map.
Making some waves, you know.
But I think that's just about everything. We've talked about
All the meets we went to.
talked about all the meets. We've talked about, let's see,
All the generations.
we talked about Squeegee with Jordan. So, yeah, I mean, and then the fun part was the ride home. It was a nice cruise back. And
We also got a really good amount of pictures and rollers and video this year. That
when you say good amount, let's be honest.
Several thousand.
No joke. One of our guys said today he had 3,900 photos to go through.
Yep.
I have between video footage and pictures. I know I have 700 and some pictures, not including the 30 some videos I took.
Yep.
Your GoPro,
Yeah.
Probably
Tommy's
like
Life
360
or his,
hours on my GoPro.
Insta360.
Instant 360, yeah.
Mhm.
And then for me, I like my picture taking ability because I had some help from my buddy Mo.
Dude, I didn't expect our pictures to come out this good.
Like he gave me a couple pointers and it completely changed the game on pictures that I took. So I took a couple like super pictures that I'm super proud of.
Well, speaking of the pictures, you know, I'm not a photographer by any means.
No, I don't.
So I found a couple of photography buddies that I have that's been doing it for a while, and I sent them a couple of my favorite pictures that I did over the weekend.
Mhm.
It's like 3 of them. I sent all 3 to him, her, and her. I was like, critique these.
Yeah.
It's like, on a beginner level, tell me what you think, and then after that, tell me what you would suggest.
Right.
One of them says that I over-edited a little bit, but it makes a good photo for a beginner, and it's a great poster picture.
Yeah.
Because of the way the colors pop.
Yeah.
On another picture, the Mark II, they said you did it just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you could see the fog lights or the yellow lights.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can do to get rid of that out of the picture.
Right.
And they're like, but the color contrast is perfect. You had the brightness and the darkness correct.
Yep.
So it's like, for me not being a photographer and seeing some of the pictures we took, and
Yeah.
you not being a photographer and the pictures you took, I'm very pleased.
I was
It's-
very proud of a lot of the stuff that I was
Mhm.
pushing. I did a lot of good rollers with this car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you guys are probably going to use them for some of your pictures and stuff like that.
And that was one of the big things that we wanted to do while we were in Helen, was the make a new intro.
Yeah. Yep.
But hopefully you guys watch to the end. If not, I understand it's a pretty long video.
This might have to be more than one.
We might
more than
split
one
this into
video.
2 videos.
Yeah, it's a podcast. Just throw it all
Yeah.
in there.
Whatever.
We'll catch you
Hey,
guys
watch
on the
it,
next
watch
one.
it.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
See you guys.